What's up everybody, it's CJ and I'm back again with another Barnacle Bay renovation video, and today I'm going to be tackling Grady's Junkshop. So this is the junkyard that comes if you have both Ambitions and like a EA World installed, or like, in my case Barnacle Bay. The game will like ask you like, hey, do you want to like populate some additional lots? And yeah, basically this is where the junkyard got placed down. The lot itself is way bigger than the junkyard is, so I was able to make the junkyard a lot bigger so you have more scrap heaps and there's other objects, but we'll talk about those when we get to it. But also, y'all, I have got to say, I feel like this week on my channel has been trash week. Like, okay, so like this video is coming out on a Monday, but I'm recording it on a Friday. So this week has honestly been trash week, if I'm being honest with you. Almost every single build video that I've done this week has been like really run down, kind of trashy, and then look at the build today, it's literally a junkyard. So like this has got to be trash week. When I tell y'all, I did not plan for it to really be this way, but it just kind of happened that way. Like, this is kind of funny. Like, I'm really weak about that. Also, funny enough, y'all, this is my second time tackling this build for video. Some of you may remember a really long time ago, maybe like a year or two ago. Like, sometimes I forget it's 2026, so I'll be like, oh, last year, and I'm like, no, you're thinking about 2024, CJ. But maybe like a year or two ago, I tackled this lot for a random build video. I just wanted to kind of like fix it up, and this is my second time doing this, honestly. Now, I was really tempted, y'all, to pull up my old build and just look at it for inspo, but I didn't really want to be inspired by myself too much. I didn't want to run into a situation where I'm copying myself and then I have two builds that literally look alike. Like, I know if you look at this one and the old one, you'll probably see a lot of similarities, but I think this one looks a lot more different. Like, for one, this is on a bigger lot than the other one, so I had more space to add stuff. But yeah, I purposely did not look at that old build. If you want to see the build I'm talking about, by the way, I'll try to find the video and I'll link it down below. It's a really nice junkyard lot. And funny enough, that was more so for Twinbrook. This one is for Barnacle Bay, so you'll notice a lot of differences. Like, for example, there's palm trees, there's tropical plant. I'm using the same fence that I've been using for like almost all the builds now. I just love this fence, y'all. Like, I've never really used it before, but I really like it, so I had to use it out in front. And my idea for the junkyard was to not make it look worse, but to make it look kind of nice. I feel like the idea is like, you could tell this lot has been here for years, but someone is upkeeping it a little bit. Like, it's just like, kind of, if you go to like an old house, you could tell it's an old house, but it still looks nice, and that's kind of the vibe I wanted. But also, I think it's kind of funny because, like, I feel like maybe this version of Grady, because the name of the lot is Grady's Junkshop, so I feel like maybe this version of Grady is a artist. So you'll see when we go on the inside, but there's like a lot of sculptures and stuff. So I was like, maybe Grady is just kind of like upkeeping, doing some landscaping and stuff like that. Maybe every couple of years he goes through and like gets rid of the old landscaping that has like died and stuff, and he gets new stuff. So like, I could just imagine him just, fixing up the little lot. He's here just doing his own little thing. One thing I knew for sure though is that I wanted to make his office a lot bigger, because by default it's small, and to be honest, you don't really need an office on a junkyard lot. Like, I get why EA did it, to kind of make it look more like a business, but to be honest, y'all, you don't really need that for this lot to work. Like, really, all you really need is just scrap. Like, that's about it. Maybe if you want to be fancy with it, you have like a inventing table or sculpture station, but like, really you just need scrap as far as I know. So yeah. So I knew for a fact that I wanted to make his office space a little bit bigger. So as you can see, I extended it out a couple of tiles. I fixed the roofing, which I'm really happy with how the roofing turned out. Like, I think it looks really good. And trust me, y'all, I have been seeing y'all comments lately. A lot of y'all like, CJ, roofing is hard, building is hard in The Sims, and I gotta say, I agree. It really is. I feel like maybe I may make it look a little easy for a lot of people, but I understand when y'all say like, CJ, building is hard and difficult, because trust me, I've been there. My biggest advice to really anyone who struggles with building or furnishing in The Sims, or roofing especially, is that you have to just practice. I know it may sound cliche, I know you probably heard it before, but really, you just have to practice, y'all. That is how I got better at building. Looking up inspo pictures on the internet, or whenever I'm like riding down the street, I'll sometimes look at the houses around me and I'm like, oh, that would be nice in The Sims, or oh, I wonder if I could do that in The Sims. But like, literally, that's kind of what I do. It's really just practicing. Like, if you want to see how bad I used to be, or worse at building I used to be, look at some of my old videos from like years ago. Like, some of those builds are kind of bad, y'all. Some of them was bad, especially like the first couple of ones I did. Ugh. But yeah, really, you just have to practice, y'all. Practice makes perfect, and that's literally what it is with The Sims. I've done a couple of build tutorial videos on my channel. I may do another one since it's a new year, you know, but I've done like 2 of them on my channel, so I'll leave them linked down below if anyone is interested in watching. I show you how to do like really 2 basic houses in The Sims, and I feel like if maybe you can start out with the basics and you can kind of get the basics of building, you know, down pack, you can kind of use those skills to build off of it. So I'll leave those videos linked down below, but trust me, y'all, I know what you mean when you're like, CJ, building is hard. I know, trust me. Sometimes, y'all, when I say I pause my recording, I literally do. I have like OBS and then I like pause the recording. I literally have to like sit here sometime and like fiddle and fiddle. Like literally the build that I did the other day where it was like the rundown trailer, that roofing gave me a hard time because I was trying to make it connect to the trailer and it was a whole thing. And like literally in that video, I was like, I don't know what I did. I really didn't. I like somehow was able to get both of the roof pieces to line up. It was a whole thing. But either way, like I said, I'll leave some links down below if you want to, like, you know, look at the build tutorials. But honestly, a lot of the times when I build and stuff and furnishing especially, I just kind of furnish on vibe. Like literally, y'all, I vibe furnish. I feel like for me, I just try to find colors that look good together. And the same thing with like the objects. I just try to find like objects I like that kind of look good together stuff. Especially if it's like a themed build, I'll try to find things that kind of relate to it. Like for example, this build is a junkyard, so I wanted like some really rundown objects and some objects that you could tell have been here a while, you know. Now we are on the inside of the building, so this is like where the office is. It is a lot bigger. It's L-shaped, so I was able to actually have like a little lobby waiting area, and then of course we have the front desk. So I was gonna keep this desk, but I didn't really like it anymore, so I swapped it out with the one from the pets pack. This one just kind of gives more like, I don't know, run down vibes in a way, and if that makes sense. So I ended up putting that in here. I did keep the chair and lamp, and then funny enough, y'all, I almost forgot to put windows in here. You'll see it way later. I do put some windows. I'm using the ones from the pets pack, but at first I was just kind of trying to find a lot of things that kind of make sense in here. I found a little pirate flag and I was like, bro, we gotta put that. We're in Barnacle Bay, come on now, we gotta put a pirate flag somewhere. So we have a pirate flag. I also have like a little menu thing, maybe like prices of how much it is to like dump stuff, or maybe it's like prices. It's kind of like some places you can take tin cans, like aluminum cans, and like they'll buy it from you. So maybe this is like a little menu like, oh, if it weighs this much, we'll pay you by the pound or something. Like, I don't know. I also found this shelf object from the university pack, and I was like, bro, I gotta put something up there. And then this is kind of where I got the idea of him being a artist, you know, or like a sculptor. So there's like these little widget objects that you can make with ambitions. So I put a couple of those on the shelf. And then there's also like this junk robot object, and I was like, bro, I gotta put that in here somewhere. And then there's also like little like wall of wheels and stuff like that. Like, I feel like Grady is just, you know, half the time he's working, but the other half he's just like working on inventions, working on little like art pieces and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes he'll sell them to people he knows, you know, but I don't really think it's like a side business. It's more like a passion kind of thing. There's also like a little locker object, and I always say this, but I would have wished that EA would have made these functional as like an actual dresser, because like imagine having that like on a community lot, like a gym or something, or like a spa, like having like a little locker you can lock up. It would have been so nice. It was kind of funny though, because a lot of the widgets were so big they could slot on the shelf, but it looks like in real life they would fall off. So I tried to get some smaller ones. I found a caveman gnome, and I was like, I kind of want to put that up there as well. So there's a caveman gnome, and then over here is like where the chairs and the TV and everything is. So I kind of see this as being like a lobby waiting area. Like, I don't really imagine this place is that busy, you know, like in terms of real life I don't really think they get that many customers, maybe like during certain times of the year, but I don't really think it's that busy usually. But you know, I'm sure they have regulars that come through, or maybe he has friends that come over and they'll kind of just sit and hang out for a while. So I gave you a TV. There's this really cool coffee table from the Sims 3 store. It looks kind of put together, so maybe Grady made it, I don't know. But it's like a little coffee table. I'm using the chairs from the base game. The rug is from Into the Future. And then, of course, like the little artwork on the wall is from the Island Paradise pack, because, you know, it has like a fish on it and it looks kind of run down. So I had to use it. Y'all already know. Also, I put like a little life preserve on the wall because there is one outside of the lot. So I wanted one inside too, because, you know, Barnacle Bay, tropical vibe, that kind of thing. At first, I was like, I kind of wanted to put a bathroom on this lot, but I couldn't really figure out where to put the bathroom. And then I thought about when I did the original build a long time ago, I put like a little outhouse behind that build, like where the stair is, and I was like, bro, why don't I just do that today? So you'll see a little bit later, there are 2 all-in-one bathrooms, but they're like the outhouse version of it, and they're right outside of the door, and there's like a little wall and roof around it. But yeah, so Sims can use it. So there is technically a bathroom here because I figured that maybe if you were here, maybe you might be here for a while, you know? Maybe you need to get your Sims some scrap, or there is a dumpster. So by default, this lot has dumpsters. We have like a separate dumpster object in the Sims 3, and the other one is the one that you can like dumpster dive in. So I swapped the old ones out for the new one that you can dumpster dive in. So I put that in the parking lot. So I don't know, maybe your Sims might need to dumpster dive. And you know, when your Sims do dumpster dive, after a while they do get nasty and dirty. So I gave you like an all-in-one bathroom. So maybe if you need to stay here for a while and go through stuff, you know, you can do it. I also included a time machine object as well. The reason why is because like we're playing in Barnacle Bay and there won't be one on any of the other lots. So I was like, maybe I can just kind of include one here. It ties into ambitions, you know. Funny enough, I didn't know, but like sometimes when your Sims go to the time machine, they can come back with a baby. Like that's so crazy. Like this time machine is different from the one from Into the Future. You won't travel with your Sims to the future or the past, but your Sims will kind of go in and just disappear. So I've just put one here just in case you needed it. I also put an inventing table out in the back as well, just in case you needed it. I did not put a sculpture station. I couldn't really find a place to put it that I liked, and also I wanted to kind of be mindful of the scrap heaps because I didn't want to move them in a place where your Sims couldn't reach. So whenever I placed them down, I turned off move objects to make sure everything could kind of work and stuff. So if you see some things kind of spaced out, that's kind of why. I wanted to make sure that your Sims could get around to every scrap heap and stuff like that. But in the end, y'all, that's pretty much everything for the build. I kept going around and just placing more stuff that I liked, you know, like more rundown looking objects and stuff like that. I really like that little ship in the flower bed. I thought that looked so cool. Yeah, it's this ship right here, but I also put another one in the flower bed. I thought that looks kind of cool, you know. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment something down below. I'll leave a link to this build down below if you want to download it. And that's all that I have for this one, y'all. Please stick around for the screenshots, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching!